I'm Anil Kumar sharing with you operations with mixed numbers. Here we will learn how to borrow and subtract mixed numbers. We have two excellent examples here. 5 2 over 3 minus 2 4 over 5 and 2 3 over 4 minus 1 4 over 5. Now as we do in fractions, we should write the fraction part as the one with common denominators, right? So first we should look for common denominators. Now 3 and 5, what could be the LCM? So we know the lowest common multiple for the denominator in this case is 15. So we have to write them both with 15. So I'll rewrite my question as 5. To make this 15, I have to multiply by 5. So I get 10 over 15. And here I get 2. I'll multiply them by 3. And so I get 12 over 15. Perfect. So in this case, I times it with 5, this denominator, right? So times 5. And in this case, I times it with 3. So we got the same denominators. Now what do you notice? You notice that 10 is less than 12. You cannot really borrow, without borrowing, you cannot really take away 12 from 10. So here we apply our strategy to split the whole number into two portions. So I'll write 5 as 4 plus, since this is 15, I'll write this as 15 over 15. Do you see this part? So 5 wholes and 1 whole will give us 5, and I have here 10 over 15. Now from here, I'll take away 2, 12 over 15. Do you see that? I'm just showing this operation to you to show how I get a number which is kind of borrowing 4 wholes and combining 15 with 10, I get 25 with 15. And now I can easily take 2, 12 over 15. Do you understand this part? So the idea here is to split 5 into two portions, and that is kind of a borrow. So I borrowed 1 from 5 to make this fraction with a higher denominator. That is what I did. And now I'll do 4 minus 2, which is 2. So this I get from 4 minus 2, and I will do 25 take away 12, which is 13 over 15 to get my answer. So 213 over 15 is the answer for the question. So I hope that makes sense, right? Now let's take up the next example again to understand the whole process. So the first step here is to write with common denominators. In this case, we always say lowest common denominator also at times. Lowest common denominator could be what? It could be 20, right? So we have to make them both as 20. So I'm rewriting this as 2. To get 20, I will multiply this by 5. So we get 15 over 20 minus 1. Multiply this by 4. We get 16 over 20. Now since we know that 15 is less than 16, I cannot take away. So I need to borrow. Borrow from where? I have to borrow from this 2. So when I borrow from 2, it becomes 1, and this becomes 20 plus 15, which is 35. Right? So when I borrow this 2, 2 is equal to 1 plus 20 over 20. Do you see that? 2 is 1 plus 20 over 20. So I added this 20 to 15 to get 35. This is a critical step to understand. Once you get this, you get everything. So what I did was I split 2 as 1 plus 20 over 20, which is as good as writing 2 as 1 plus 1. 20 over 20 is 1. Now when I add 20 over 20 with 15 over 20, what do I get? I get 35 over 20, which is right there. I hope now it is absolutely clear. So let's continue. So we get this as 1/16/20 to be taken away from 1/35/20. Now when you do 1 minus 1, you get nothing, so don't write anything here. Writing 0 is not a good idea, correct? And in the fraction part, you get 35 minus 19, right? So 35 minus 19 will be 19, right? So we could write, so if I take 36 minus 16 is 20, so that is 19/20 as your answer. Does make sense to you, correct? So that is how we could actually take away mixed numbers from the other mixed number. I hope it makes sense. Feel free to write your comments and share your views. And if you like and subscribe to my videos, that would be great. Thanks for watching and all the best.